Are you tired of staring at endless static grids of numbers that just completely bury the actual insights? I mean, we've all been there, right? Staring at those mind-numbing spreadsheets that feel way more like an eye exam than a helpful business tool. Well, what if your data didn't have to look like that? Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to take those boring grids and transform them into something absolutely incredible. I'll be walking you through a step-by-step explainer on how to build a highly dynamic, interactive dashboard right inside Microsoft Excel.
Think of this whole explainer as your architect's blueprint. We're going to build a completely custom dashboard from the ground up. And I promise you, by the end of our time together, you won't even feel like you're looking at a spreadsheet anymore. It's going to look and feel like a polished, standalone software application. And hey, don't sweat it if you're a complete beginner. We're going to take this one logical step at a time.
So, here's our game plan for today. First, we'll design your basic interface. Second, link up interactive data charts. Third, automate with simple VBA. Fourth, integrate dynamic 3D maps. And finally, map out custom floor plans. Let's dive in.
All right, Section 1. Designing your basic interface. Before we even think about touching the data, we have to build our foundation.
Okay, a professional app doesn't look like a spreadsheet, right? So the very first beautifully simple step is to just jump up to the View tab and turn off those default grid lines. Just like that, boom, you have a clean, blank canvas. Next up, we're going to use Excel's built-in shapes. By inserting some rounded rectangles, we actually create these distinct layout cards that'll eventually hold our charts. Then, we apply professional gradient color schemes. Think really sleek dark blues or modern dashboard themes. And to really make it look polished, we add these subtle drop shadows to the shapes. It gives them this 3D pop that literally lifts them right off the screen. Finally, we just align and group these design elements perfectly so everything stays locked and symmetrical.
The difference here is just striking. On one side, you've got that cluttered traditional data grid, but on the other, a completely polished dashboard interface, just from applying those simple design steps. And get this, we haven't even written a single complex formula yet. The visual transformation is night and day. You're literally just drawing shapes and picking out colors, but you're creating this clean, color-coordinated environment that completely changes how your audience is going to interact with the data.
Moving right along to Section 2. Linking interactive data charts. This is our data layer.
Now, let's talk about the connection between your raw numbers and that shiny new interface. Excel actually has some fantastic built-in tools like slicers, pivot charts, and form controls. You know, those little checkboxes or combo boxes. By inserting a chart based on your underlying data and then layering a slicer right on top of your dashboard interface, you're allowing the user to filter the data completely effortlessly. When they click a button on your dashboard, that slicer talks directly to the data table, updates the pivot chart, and suddenly your visual interface comes alive in real time. It's all seamlessly linked together.
All right, Section 3. Automating with simple VBA. Time for the logic layer.
So you've drawn this really cool looking next button using a shape. Awesome. But how do we make our buttons actually work? How do we make it so that when you click next, the dashboard instantly loads up a completely different chart right inside your custom window?
To pull this off, we're going to use two terms that honestly sound a bit intimidating but are actually super simple: VBA and user forms. Think of VBA, which just stands for Visual Basic for Applications, as the basic electrical wiring that connects your light switch to your light bulb. It's just a simple set of instructions. And a user form, that's basically just a custom floating pop-up window that you design inside Excel to act as your actual interactive dashboard application. So the real trick here is figuring out how we keep track of what the user is currently looking at. Check out this incredibly simple line of code. Counter equals counter plus 1. In VBA, a variable is essentially just a little memory box. So we create a memory box and call it counter. When your user clicks that next button, Excel peeks inside that memory box, adds 1 to the number, and goes, ah, they were looking at chart 1, now they need to see chart 2. It's literally just a simple tracker for navigating between your charts.
And guys, here is the absolute cleverest trick for beginners. This is a real secret weapon. You don't have to write thousands of lines of code to redraw these charts from scratch. Instead, we use VBA to simply tell Excel, hey, take my existing chart, export it as a temporary picture file, kind of like a GIF, and then load that picture into the image box on my custom user form. So when the user clicks your next button, the counter goes up by 1, VBA grabs the next chart, snaps a quick picture of it, and boom, updates the dashboard. It's this brilliant, highly logical workaround that makes your whole dashboard feel incredibly fast and dynamic.
On to Section 4, integrating dynamic 3D maps. These are like your smart home upgrades.
So, did you know Excel actually has this native, insanely powerful mapping feature built right in? It's powered by Bing Maps. You simply go up to the Insert tab and click Open 3D Maps. As long as your data has some sort of location field, we're talking country names, zip codes, or precise latitude and longitude, Excel is going to instantly plot those points onto a 3D globe. From there, you get to choose exactly how to visualize it. You could use stacked columns to show overlapping data, bubbles to represent population sizes, or heat maps to instantly spot high-density areas. You can even drag a date or time field into the time box to create this amazing temporal animation that plays out sequentially.
Now you might be wondering, can Excel actually handle massive data sets with this 3D Mat feature? The answer is a massive yes. Take a look at this number, 74,882. That represents nearly 75,000 individual rows of actual traffic crash data in New York City. Excel's 3D Maps takes every single one of those latitude and longitude coordinates and creates a vibrant heat map, isolating the most dangerous intersections, and it does it all without breaking a sweat. It handles massive data sets almost instantly.
And finally, Section 5, Mapping Custom Floor Plans. Because what if your geographic data isn't a whole city, but just the inside of a single building?
Believe it or not, you can actually use 3D maps for hyperlocal tracking. This is easily one of the most visually impressive features you can build. By opening up 3D maps and simply deleting that default world map scene, you can hit New Custom Map. This lets you upload any background picture you want. Imagine uploading the specific architectural floor plan of your factory, your warehouse, or your office layout. Then, instead of mapping latitude and longitude, you just map simple X and Y coordinates directly onto your custom image.
Let's look at exactly what that underlying data should look like. We've got a time column, an X coordinate, a Y coordinate, and sensor data. Maybe you're tracking temperature hotspots or machinery efficiency across the factory floor. Because we have that X and Y data, Excel can plot your sensor data precisely onto the image of your floor plan. And because we included that time column, you can actually hit play and watch a heat map of your factory floor evolve throughout the entire 24-hour workday. It is advanced business intelligence, but made remarkably accessible.
Think about it. We've gone all the way from just turning off basic grid lines to programming functional buttons with VBA, right down to animating custom floor plans. So my question to you is, are you ready to finally stop hiding your data in boring reports and start building a true experience? Grab this blueprint we talked about today, open up a fresh sheet, and just start building. All the tools are right there waiting for you.